Welcome back to the Alpine Rose. Season 3, Episode 3, Walkout Basement Stud Walls and Interior Framing. As you can tell from this picture, not all the walls are 8 feet. Therefore, a stud wall needs to be built. The plans are very specific about the type of wall to be built. For example, it's a 2x8 stud wall. In many places they want double studs, 16-inch on center with a bottom plate which is pressure treated. A top plate is a double top plate. And there are locations for hurricane anchors to be fastened down to the foundation. Many of these anchors were 22 inches tall. So during the outside framing, it's now a chance to make some changes if you have to. You cannot make structural changes, but for example, if you wanted to add a window or remove a window, that's okay. I chose to remove one window left of the garage. So now it's time to do some framing. Using pressure treated lumber any place where it touches the concrete. Seal between the concrete and the pressure treated lumber, 16-inch on center. Because in many cases I was by myself, I had to come up with ways to use the tractor to lift the wall in place. At 9,000 feet, the sun gets brutal, but so do the afternoon thunderstorms. I continued building the rest of the walls around the basement. Triple 2x10s over the headers for the windows and the doors. Another trip to Home Depot to pick up the beams for the garage doors because they were not included in the kit. Everything was spec'd out in the plans, including whether you're toe nailing the nails in or you're driving them from the other side of the 2x4. Time to get all the walls plumb and start nailing on some plywood. The plans called for 7/16 OSB. Sometimes it's a little challenging to get the crew motivated, but it was hot out. They all wanted something to do, so I gave them a bunch of nails and a bunch of hammers and said, go at it.
Okay.
Can you imagine 16 whacks to drive in an 8-penny nail?
Oh, I have a little. Okay.
As site boss, I decided I need to buy a nailer. In fact, I bought 2. So once the external walls are up, it's time to put in the character posts and the internal walls. The center bearing wall is the only one that's critical for the next part of the build. So now I had my wife, her friend, her dad, my cousin, and his wife all to lend a hand that day. So before we put on the garage header, I needed to use the forklift to bring in the 2 character posts and the GL beams. The character beams were extra long, but I knew we could trim those at a later date. Once the character posts were in place, it was time to put in the GL beams, glued laminated. 2x6 wall is what was required between the 2 character posts. Again, pressure treated lumber used on the bottom next to the concrete. Continually bracing it from side to side to make sure we keep everything plumb while we're putting it together. Continue to put on the GL beam on the other side near the garage door, and to finish, put in the header on the garage door. Here's the basement framed in, along with the utility room. That's going to be right next to the stairway. Because the kit did not include any of the 2x8s or the plywood for the basement, I still had piles and piles of logs and lumber. But it's starting to take shape. Next episode will be the subfloor. Thank you very much for watching.